Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while, but I'm back with part 2 of my ultimate Game Boy Advance SP build. First, let me give you a quick recap of where this project left off. If you remember from the first video, I completed customizing and modding my Game Boy to refresh and modernize it. But unfortunately, by the end of it all, my Game Boy was completely broken. Technically, it would turn on and the intro screen would load, but it wouldn't boot into games. This was a really defeating moment for me because I had just spent a whole bunch of time and money on the project just for it to not work in the end. And even worse, I stripped one of the screws so I couldn't get back inside to attempt to fix it. And that's where it ended. I had a cool retro game console with an awesome custom design that was completely useless. But now I have great news. Take a look at this. That's right, I was able to get it working, which was really exciting for me. I've been playing a bunch of the games from my childhood like the Kirby series and Pokemon Emerald, and I've been having a blast. To repair my Game Boy, I had to do two things. First, I had to remove the stripped screw by drilling it out. I actually attempted a lot of different techniques to get the screw out, but none of them worked. Next, I had to remove the power cleaner mod that I installed. Turns out this little mod is way more of a hassle than it's worth, so you're better off just skipping it altogether. If you remember from my last video, they have a disclaimer on their website on how to avoid the issue I was having. However, I personally wasn't interested in trying to get it to work, so I just completely removed it, and now my Game Boy is working perfectly. But that's not where the story ends either. As you may have seen from the thumbnail, I have a second Game Boy. I purchased it because I wanted to put it in another very special case, the full metal aluminum CNC case by Boxy Pixel. I just think this case is so awesome, I had to get one for myself. So I purchased a second console on eBay and got to work. I performed all the same mods as the first time with small iterations here or there. Of course, the first step is to salvage the working PCB and hinges from our Game Boy. It's always a good idea to give it a little clean once you have it fully removed. These devices are like 20 years old, so they all need a little TLC. I'm using 99% isopropyl alcohol and some Q-tips to get the job done. The hardest mod to perform is replacing the old power port with a USB-C port. There are a bunch of these little pins that have to be removed carefully. The last time I attempted it, I stripped one of the pads when removing the old port, which you want to avoid at all costs because it can ruin your project. The best way for beginners to remove the pins is to cut them off one by one and then desolder what's left. I bought some thinner red cutters which made the job even easier than using my old blue ones. Instead of using my desoldering pump, I finally invested in a desoldering gun. This was a massive quality of life upgrade for me and made the job infinitely faster and easier. If you foresee yourself desoldering in the future, even if it's just once a year, seriously consider buying one of these. With it, I removed the power port and shoulder buttons. Then I soldered on the USB-C port and new shoulder buttons. Both of these are different models from the first video, but they perform the same tasks. The screen I'm using is the highest resolution available right now, the 720 by 480 IPS screen. It gets super bright and the lines are sharp thanks to the high resolution. When installing it, I tried to use my new precision automatic screwdriver, but I think the torque was too high and ended up damaging the threads of the case slightly. I switched to a manual screwdriver later, and I would recommend you use one too. Then the metal buttons, membranes, and speaker are installed normally. My camera actually ran out of storage, so I didn't have footage of the end of the build, but the last mod is this brand new battery. As per usual, it's a slightly nicer version than the one from the first video. This one is fully assembled for you and has a slightly higher capacity. So there you have it, my second Game Boy Advance SP completely rebuilt and looking absolutely stunning in this all aluminum case. I learned a lot from my first attempt and I'm really happy with how this one turned out. Both Game Boys are working perfectly now and I've been having a blast reliving my childhood with them. The USB-C charger is a game changer. So many of my devices are USB-C nowadays that I only ever carry one charger with me. Even though this mod is difficult, I think it's 100% worth it. Not being limited to their proprietary connector is a freeing experience. And the high resolution screen is incredible. If you only plan on doing one mod, it should be this one. The original is so difficult to look at by comparison, it's seriously night and day. Gameplay is so much more enjoyable. The icing on the cake is the actual final mod, an Everdrive GBA cartridge. With this thing, you can download any ROMs onto an SD card and play them. I downloaded literally every single American GBA game ever made, and you don't even need that much storage. 32 gigabytes is pretty much all you need to pull it off. And you can also easily play fan-made ROMs just as easily. Even though I'm in love with this build, I do have some minor complaints that I'll address off camera or possibly in one of my future vlogs. First is the feel of the buttons. Specifically, the A button just isn't as clicky as the rest of them. It's pretty annoying that the feel is inconsistent and I'd like to replace them in the future. Second is that the hinge is a little bit loose. As you can see, it's a little bit wiggly, which isn't a problem in the original case. The tolerances of the CNC case just aren't tight enough. I'll see what I can do to tighten it up, but this is probably more of a challenge. So, what do you think of my Game Boy builds? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have any questions or tips, feel free to share them as well. If you're interested in modding your own Game Boy, I'll leave links to all the products I use in the video description. Remember to subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.